Today on Dr. Phil, a love triangle.
She needs to make a decision, Rich or me.
It's hard to make up my mind between the two. I love them both.
Torn between her city husband and her country boyfriend.
You had an affair and convinced him you were the victim.
I didn't do it on purpose.
No, come on.
Now,
Richard and Lloyd have never spoken face to face.
the two men meet for the first time.
Julie, sit wherever you feel like you should.
Will she choose her childhood crush?
After 20 years, you wound up in a pickup truck having sex, and you initiated it.
Or her husband?
What gives you the right to be with this man's wife? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. Okay, take a look at this couple, Julie and Lloyd. They've been in a relationship for a year and a half, but they've known each other since childhood. They both say the attraction was instant. Julie says Lloyd makes her forget her troubles. He's passionate and fun. She's attracted to his simple country boy way of life, and the sex is great. Sounds like a really good relationship, right? Well, there's always a catch, isn't there? Julie's not married to Lloyd. She's married to Richard. And she has been for 13 years. Now, after a year and a half of this twisted love triangle, they're all saying, you know what? Enough's enough and too much is too much. And it's time to figure this out. Like the old saying goes, two's company, three's a crowd. So Julie has reached out to me, desperate for me to help her decide between her husband and her childhood crush.
I've been married to Rich for 13 years, but I have been having an affair with Lloyd for about a year and a half. It's hard to make up my mind between the two. I love them both. When the passion with my husband died a few years ago, we just let it die. There's no kissing anymore. I will not initiate sex, and he will not ask for it. Lloyd and I reconnected after about 25 years, and we just picked up right where we left off. We went to a local pub and reminisced about old times. Him and I left, and we went parking in his pickup truck. And I can't say we made love. We just had sex, like two 16-year-old kids. The passion that I felt with Lloyd was amazing and something that I hadn't had in years. I'm happy, yeah. There are so many qualities in Rich that I don't want to let go of. But yet, there's a lot of qualities that Lloyd has that keeps me going back.
Really?
You're lying. I just can't make up my mind if I should stay with Rich or go with Lloyd.
Well, Julie may be having a hard time deciding who to choose, but Richard's pretty clear that he wants Lloyd to just get the hell out. He wants him to get lost.
When I first found out Julie was having an affair, I was extremely upset. I had told her I was packing her things and don't even bother coming home. She begged me not to leave her.
We have to learn to be different.
She made a point of convincing me that she was going to end the affair, that she would do whatever she had to do to make our marriage work. After we had that talk, I would find out that she had gone to see Lloyd again. I know that Julie goes to Lloyd's and stays 2 or 3 days while I'm gone. It's very upsetting. She's with another guy in his place. I did recently threaten Lloyd. He was not allowing her to use her phone or respond to me, and so I texted him directly and said, Lloyd, you give my wife her phone back or I'm coming down there to break your neck. I wonder if I'm doing the right thing by sticking with Julie and trying to make my marriage work, or is it time to cut my losses and move on?
You believe that you love your husband,
Yes.
right? You do love your husband.
Yes.
But there's Lloyd.
Yeah. I saw him after 20-some years, and it happened, and then we just kept it going.
Okay, hold on a second. You said you saw him after 20 years, and it just happened. You wound up in a pickup truck having sex. I hate it when that happens, but you just saw him, and it just happened.
We're grown. We know what we're doing.
So
It
it
didn't
didn't
just
happen.
No.
In fact, you got in the truck with him, and you initiated it.
Yeah. Yes, I
Okay,
did.
so it didn't just happen.
Right.
You're the it. You happened.
Right.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Because I know Lloyd's easy to paint horns on here, but she's a little horny herself.
Apparently,
You watched the tape at the top of the show, right?
yes.
Was that the first time you've actually seen them together?
Yes.
And they were, but you see it now, they're.
Pretty chummy.
Tell me how you wrap your head around that. What does that mean to you?
Betrayal. He uses emotional blackmail and guilt to keep her on a string.
So she's a victim in this, in a sense.
I believe that she is, at this point, because she has told me many times. And I believe her when she looks me in the eye and tells me it's over, it's over.
Yeah, because you know she's honest.
She has been for 12 years. Had no reason to ever doubt anything that she did.
But you think she's a victim here. So you
I
feel
believe-
sorry for her in a
I do.
sense. When you sat down and told him about this, did you portray yourself as a victim?
I didn't think I did. Because
Well,
I
wait a
said,
minute. You didn't actually sit down and tell him about it, though, did you?
I wrote him a letter,
On Facebook, didn't you?
basically texting.
Here's what you said. Things have gotten way out of control with that friend of mine, Lloyd. Our talk time has become way too much. I don't know how to fix things because I just can't stop talking to him. I don't know why I allowed this to happen, maybe because of all the resentment I have towards everyone. Maybe I'm just lonely. Maybe I am just a person. Please don't leave me. This is all on me. You are the perfect husband and father. I am done talking to him. I want and need you. I just knew I wouldn't stop talking to him unless I told you. I couldn't give us 100% until I told you. I mean, it just goes on. But I mean, now that was 15 months ago. You said you were done talking to him, but it wasn't a talking. There was more than talking. But you didn't quit.
No.
How did you convince him you were a victim?
I didn't.
No, you did. You did. You convinced him you were a victim. And while he was saying you were a victim, I looked over and you were sitting there like you poor pitiful Pearl. How did you pull that off?
I'm just saying that I don't know. I don't know.
No, that's amazing. You went off and had an affair with a guy and convinced him you were the victim. How did you do that?
I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I didn't do it on purpose.
No,
I
come
didn't
on.
do it on purpose.
Come on.
I told him for the whole entire time, this was on me.
Did you convince yourself you were the victim?
I never thought I was a victim. But maybe you're right. I don't know.
Well, how did you sell it over here, though?
I don't know.
Didn't take much selling, Dr. Phil. I've been Julie's biggest protector and defender for 15 years. We make a great team when we work together.
You got a new team member now. We're going to meet them after the break. Richard and Lloyd have never spoken face to face. I'm going to help them through this awkward introduction when we come back.
Julie and I, we're pretty awesome in bed. We're both in love with each other. She needs to make a decision. It's either Rich or me.
And later,
My grandson knows something is going on because when Rich goes to work, he whispers in my ear and says, "Are we going to go see Lloyd?"
Julie says she has a big dilemma. She loves her husband, Richard, of 13 years, but she is also in love with her boyfriend, Lloyd, and has been carrying on an affair with him for about a year and a half. Now, Lloyd says He's loved Julie ever since they were kids. He let her go once, and he says he will not make that mistake again. Take a look.
I told Julie that I was madly in love with her, that I would never let her go. She really makes me happy. I love taking her out. I want everybody to see that I'm with Julie. We're both in love with each other. We don't want to lose each other.
I always enjoy seeing you. You know that.
Her husband would be gone. She would come to stay with me, or I would go up there for a couple of days. I get mad when Julie goes back on Sundays to be with her husband. Julie and I, we're pretty awesome in bed. I make Julie happier than Rich does, but she feels more secure when she's with Rich. She needs to make a decision. It's either Rich or me. We'll never let her go, no matter what she decides to do.
Okay, Lloyd is going to join us now. This is the first time these two gentlemen have spoken to each other in person. So, Lloyd, come on out. I'm going to put him here. I'll have you stand if you would. Just step down here. Lloyd, how are you, sir?
Good.
Julie, you know, I'm Dr. Phil.
Nice to meet you.
I'll have you sit right over here if you would, Lloyd.
Okay.
And Julie, you sit wherever you feel like you should. I'll let you make up your mind on that. You are in a 1.5-year relationship with Julie?
Yes, sir.
Now, at the time you got into this relationship with her, you were married for 20 years?
22 years.
22 years with children?
Right.
Okay. So if you have your way about it, you will bust up this relationship, and she has busted up your relationship.
Right.
Because after 22 years,
Right,
you
walked away.
You walked away. What gives you the right to be involved with this man's wife?
It doesn't. I mean, it's wrong. It's completely wrong.
But take me through the moment when you gave yourself permission to get involved with this man's wife.
When Julie made the move is when it started.
So he says that you are manipulative and guilt-inducing. You take her phone from her where she can't get messages from him or call him. That you've said to her, look, I left my family for you. I quit drinking for you. I've changed my whole life for you. You can't leave me now. Do you say that to her?
Yeah, I do.
What do you want to say to him?
I don't know if I can. I've texted Lloyd a few times. He knows how I feel. And
Well, I don't know how you feel.
I'm
My
very
God,
upset with him.
Would
I'm
you,
very
would you
mad
yell
at him.
fire if you were on fire?
It's not my way, no. I'm
How do you feel about them over here holding hands? You don't like her going back to him.
No, I don't like it. But
I think the thing that I told Lloyd one time in a text that was said in kind of an angry period of time, obviously, but, they're having fun and games. We can see what they're doing up there. But it's a weekend getaway. They don't have reality. And they got this little junior high romance type thing going on that makes them both feel real good because they don't have any responsibilities when they're together. If they were together, and I've told Julie, maybe a separation is what we need, and maybe you need to just go live with Lloyd for 3 or 4 months and see how it works out for you when reality sets in.
So you want me to help you pick?
I don't want you to help me pick.
What do you want?
I don't know what, I need to get this on straight.
Ask me a question. You ask me anything you want to ask me if you are prepared to hear the truth.
I'm prepared to hear the truth.
Then ask me a question.
I don't know how I got to this point. I don't know why I put myself in this situation. Nobody did it. I did it.
Okay, so if I can paraphrase, your first question is not what to do. Your first question is, how the hell did I get in this situation?
Yes.
Right? Okay. I'll answer that. We have to take a break, and then I'm going to answer that question right after the break. Now, why are both of these men leaving everything up to Julie. I'll start unraveling this after the break. You were taking your child to hang out with your lover while his dad was on the road working. And later,
You know, I gotta leave you. I can't do this. I need to walk away. And you know that was wrong. And I told you that was wrong.
Bringing my grandson around Lloyd at first seemed okay because he didn't get to see anything other than friendship.
Our grandson would come home and make little comments. Hey, me and Lloyd are country boys. Dad, you're a city boy. Very hurtful.
My grandson knows something is going on because when Rich goes to work, he whispers in my ear and says, "Are we going to go see Lloyd?" I feel extremely guilty because I know better than to introduce my grandson into something like this.
your grandson, are you raising him?
Yes,
So this is essentially a child.
our child.
Right. So you were taking your child to hang out with your lover
Yes,
while his dad was on the
working.
road working.
yes,
Really?
yeah.
Did you comment on that?
Yes. I told her I was not happy with that, with that situation, that it was going to lead to a lot of problems long term because he was going to end up being torn.
How old is he now?
5.
Then when he gets 6, 7, and 8, and he remembers that his mother, because you're his mother to him, you can call it grandmother, you can call it aunt, you can call it whatever you want, was taking him to hang out with another man that he sees having affection with, I'm not saying inappropriate, but affection with, while dad's gone. How does he accommodate to that? How does a child sort that out in their mind?
You know, I don't know. I know they couldn't possibly.
You need to stop taking your child around your illicit love affair. That is inappropriate. It is inappropriate. It is emotionally abusive. This is all around bad idea. You do not take your child to go see your lover. Bad idea. Bad idea. You need to stop that. Let me be real clear. You need to stop that.
Okay.
How did you get in this situation? You got in this situation because the two of you stopped working on your relationship, and then you went and started playing footsie with him. And you're quite right, and it's easy when you don't have bills to pay, you don't have a house to run, you don't have problems to solve. All you have to do is just be on a date. It's easy to have fun on a date. It's easy to be charming on a date. It's easy to have fun when you're just out playing.
Correct.
It's very different when you're actually involved in each other's lives on a day-to-day meaningful basis. And it's really hard to compare falling in love with being in love. Falling in love is exciting and exhilarating and infatuation. And being in love is a more comfortable, predictable, day-to-day sort of thing. It's not that one is better than the other, it's just different. Right. And it's apples and oranges, and it's an unfair comparison. This whole thing is just so illogical, I don't even know how to wrap my mind around it. You two have arguments about this, right? You two have arguments among yourselves and about your marriage, correct? You're upset with her about her relationship with him. You're upset with her about her relationship with him.
Correct.
You're upset with yourself about your relationship with both of them. Is anybody happy?
No.
Surprise! We'll be right back. You jumped out of a moving car. Why did that seem like a good idea?
We were arguing, and I just like, I got to get out.
What do you think about that?
It's embarrassing. Lloyd is very possessive and jealous and wants me all to himself without Rich in the picture.
It just upsets me when I know that she's going back home.
Our arguments can be very volatile. One night when we were driving down the road, I had said I was going to go home to Rich, and so Lloyd jumped out of the car. Another night, he grabbed me by my arms. I didn't even realize how hard he grabbed me until I went home and saw the bruises on both sides. This past weekend, Lloyd did not want me to go home. I had my grandson in my arms, and Lloyd pushed me backwards. I did not fall down, but I lost balance.
I gave her a little push, but that's all that's ever happened.
Now I am scared that I might be getting myself back into a volatile relationship.
You've been married a couple times before, okay? And so I want to write something down here. Now, you have had previous partners, okay? And we said that those partners were not good in that they were abusive, correct?
Yes.
We said that those partners were not good because there was alcohol involved, correct?
Yes.
We said those were not good because they were unpredictable, correct?
Correct.
Controlling?
Yeah.
Jealous?
Yes.
Possessive?
Yes.
Now, you're in a relationship with Lloyd. You just described marks on your arms. You said you stopped drinking for her, but the truth is you are drinking again, correct?
Correct.
So he is drinking. You said they were unpredictable. Did I hear you say he jumped out of a moving car?
Yes.
Because you didn't like what was going on, so you jump out of a moving car. All because he doesn't want you going back to your husband. How dare you go back to your husband? He objects to that, wants to control it because of jealousy and possessiveness.
I know.
Now, I'm sure he's a hell of a lot of fun in the seat of a pickup truck, but on the other hand, it seems to me that partners 1 and 2 and potential number 4 seem to have an awful lot in common. What do you think, Lloyd?
Completely right.
You jumped out of a moving car. Why was this? Why did that seem like a good idea?
We were arguing, and I just like, I got to get out. And I just got out.
And you went to rehab, right?
Yes.
And how long after rehab before you started drinking again?
That was 3.5 months.
It's a tough disease. It's subject to relapse. It takes a lot of work. And I hope you continue the battle. I hope you fight back on that. What do you think about that?
Well, when it's written down and when it's embarrassing.
If she has a brain in her head, she is not going to pursue a relationship with you.
I can't do this. I need to walk away. Julie never wears her wedding band when she's around me. Today I caught her with the wedding band on, and she knew it bothered me. This finger.
Oh, shoot. I don't usually wear it.
And why did you have it this time?
And I forgot to take it off. But then I honestly didn't know if it was appropriate to take it off. I don't know what's right.
So every time I see that ring, you know it kills me.
I know.
So I got rid of my ring, then I see you with your ring.
You know, marriage is tough. Do you agree marriage is a lot of work?
A lot of work.
You know,
Every day.
if I pull some statistics together about marriage, just so people know, first marriage, divorce rate's about 35 to 40% in America. Second marriages, it's about 60 to 65% divorce rate. Third marriages, about a 70% plus failure rate. Marriages that are born out of infidelity, particularly when both people are cheaters, about 95% failure rate. So the chance that you two are going to get married and sail off into the sunset and live happily ever after, not a good shot. You got enough of an uphill battle in the one you've got. I'm just telling you the truth. I told you, don't ask me if you don't want me to tell you the truth. He says he's not abusive. You're drinking, fighting. Come on, who are you turning down? If this, he left his wife and kids. He's drinking, fighting, and jumping out of your truck. Who the hell did you turn down? Whether you stay with him or whether you don't, he's not a good fit for you. And you're guilt-induced or saying, I left my wife and kids for you? What, that's her fault?
The thing is, I've only done it, once?
What?
When I pushed you. And what did I do when I did that? What did I say? I'm done. I am never doing, I got to leave you. I can't do this. I need to walk away. And you said, no, it's more my fault than it is yours. It was wrong. And you know that was wrong. And I told you that was wrong.
I know.
And I've only done that one time. I've never, ever done that to anybody. And you know that.
Well, she may know it, but I don't. I don't think you're an evil guy. I think you are confused. I think you are lost. And I think you are an alcoholic. And you put an alcoholic in a high-stress, desperate situation, they are going to make bad choices at a high-risk level. You are a high-risk candidate for her statistically, behaviorally, and life match-wise. You guys have absolutely no business being together. You can kill the messenger, but I'm telling you, the chance of this thing working between the two of you is zip, zero, nada, yet, is not going to work. Ain't going to work. I'm just telling you. And you can be upset for me telling you the truth, but the day will come when you will say, he told me the truth. I didn't want to hear it, but he told me the truth.
Right.
And if she has a brain in her head, she is not going to pursue a relationship with you because you are a high-risk candidate interloping into a marriage where you have no business being. Then you went from the bar to the pickup and had sex. Reckon you could at least require that she stop. Have I been clear?
Yes.
There is zero future here. Mm-hmm. This is doomed. Whether if he stood up right now and said, you know what, I watched that tape of you two playing footsie and kissing and hugging and all that. You know what? You deserve each other. Just go forth and multiply. Do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm going to take myself, I'm going to go down the road, and I'm going to be happy. The hell with you. Go on. I would tell you the same thing. The chance of you two being together long term, is 0. That's just my opinion. It is not going to work. You met, and the first time you went out together, you went to a bar. And then you went from the bar to the pickup and drove down the road and had sex. Both of you married. And you actually met at a funeral, right?
It's his mother's funeral.
His mother's funeral. And then went to a bar, and then went to the pickup, and then went and had sex. Okay. You need to move on. If you are willing to forgive and try to work on this marriage, reckon you could at least require that she stop.
Yes.
Because that would seem to me to be a prerequisite. And then if you wanted to work on it, then I'm willing to help y'all do that. You have problems in this marriage. If you interact with her the way you interact with me, that's a problem. I would think she would want a little more out of you than maybe what she's getting. That doesn't justify her having an affair. Your problems generate marital issues. They don't generate extramarital issues. There's a difference. The extramarital issues you own. The marital issues you have plenty of ownership in. And if, in fact, you do care about her, you'll leave her the hell alone.
Stop. Right.
One last thing. We all have a personal truth, and we generate the results in life we believe we deserve. And you've generated yourself a mess. That tells me that's exactly what you believe you deserve. You got to heal that personal truth. And I'm willing to help you do that. I want you to look me in the eye and give me a clear commitment about what you're going to do.
I'm going to fix me. Make an effort anyway. And I'm going to stop seeing Lloyd. And I want to work on my marriage. I want to get it back. He's a good man.
Will you respect that?
Yep.
You will?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Coming up, what Kathy Lee and I now have in common. I'll tell you what I mean after the break.
It's not often I get to turn the tables on Philip and brag shamelessly about all he has accomplished, but today is a little different. Recently, we had the privilege of being invited to New York to rub elbows with other broadcast luminaries who were being inducted into the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame. I just happen to be elbow to elbow right now with one of those honorees. I wanted to share that special night with the people that mean so much to him, his audience.
So proud of Philip. Him being inducted into the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame, I can barely speak without crying. It's like I get total body chills just thinking about where we are, why we're here, and yes, it's very emotional.
Our dad is amazing. He works so hard to do what he does, and tonight is one of those nights where you see that everybody else agrees.
He loves what he does, which is my favorite part about watching him kind of grow through his TV career. It doesn't get any better than this.
He says, I always get all the credit, but it's really all the producers that do all the work, which is kind of a lie because he's a very hardworking man. In fact, he's the hardest working talent that I've ever worked for. He's a talented man, but he's also brilliant. This is really an honor for the show itself. It's a celebration of everything that we have accomplished as a television show.
He's a great guy, he really is. And I'm glad he's getting his thing tonight.
Regis is already in. He was wondering what was taking so long for Dr. Phil. I mean, you know.
Yeah, it's about time they paid a little attention to Dr. Phil.
I knew from my encounter with him that he'd be really good on television, and it turned out to be better than I thought. Not just good television, great television. I am proud of what we were able to create together. I am proud of what you continue to manifest in your daily work, in your shows out into the world, and I am proud of you being inducted into the Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame. Who knew?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Phil McGraw.
It really has been an interesting ride for a guy that had absolutely no intention of ever being on television, ever. You know, an interesting thing about our show, we're in our 14th season now. Carla Pennington is our executive producer. She's the only one I've ever had or will have. Even across 14 years, hell, I've got the same 7 cameramen I started with day one. But the most important people to thank, like so many of y'all have said before me, are my family, Robin, Jay, and Jordan. We started with a mission, and we said on our show we want to deal with the silent epidemics. We want to give a voice to those people that don't have one. We want to change the narrative in America about mental health and mental illness. And I think we've done that at least in a small way. We've contributed to it. To be up here and inducted into the Hall of Fame is really pretty surreal for an old country boy, and I just thank you. Thank you very much. When somebody puts you in the Hall of Fame, that means something. It just kind of is a way of reminding you that people appreciate what you're doing and take it seriously, which is good. That was quite a night, wasn't it? It was fun.
It was so beautiful and so well deserved.
Yeah,
so well deserved. And you made the cover. Love that he made the cover.
Well, I really am proud of all we have accomplished on this show so far, and we're really not done yet. In fact, the public probably doesn't know it. It's been in the industry. But we just announced that we're going to continue the Dr. Phil show, and we have been renewed until the year 2020. That's just the beginning. So thanks for bringing all that up, and thank all of you for all of your support over all of these years. I want to thank all of my guests today. For more information about today's show, go to drphil.com. We'll see you next time.